Good afternoon and welcome to the Daily Agenda. It's a rather gloomy winter day outside. Well, it's not even winter yet apparently, but it feels like it. It's come here. And I guess that really brings us to the question of why it's so important to be a political soldier. For a nationalist, a nativist, that is. And the objective of it is to instill discipline, steel, strength of character, to harness and hone the character into a rock encased in granite, quite frankly. I would say that is a desirable step for any nationalist to take. And we must at all times differentiate ourselves from the soft, weak, corrupt centre right. And by that, I mean the political soldier, the nationalist political soldier, the nativist, must be the complete opposite of the likes of Tommy Robinson and the organised criminal gang, the flotsam and jetsam that surround him, his hangers-on, his groupies, his fanboys, who between them have a litany of criminal offences which are truly alarming and sickening. But that is not what nationalists must be. Whilst I accept people make mistakes in life and they should be given an opportunity to rebuild, that's not the case with them. They just carry on with their litany of criminality. And no nationalist should be allowed to do that. Obviously, there are notable exceptions, such as thought crime. Thought crime is not a crime of any description, it's merely offending the corrupt regime. Anyone who's done that, frankly, in my opinion, should be honoured, should be given great respect. If someone has served a prison sentence, for example, for exercising their right to freedom of expression, that is an honourable, respectful thing, and fits in entirely with the character and mentality of the political soldier, because the political soldier must be brave, and that bravery must shine out to other people. It must instill an example that other people want to follow. In truth, there's nothing wrong with being what Jonathan Bowden said, a cultured thug. I'm not advocating that people should become thuggish and violent, but rather that, in truth, if we look at the concept of the cultured thug, sometimes it is necessary to use force when confronted with force, and the political soldier must be cultured, educated, and that education, that grasp of events across the broad political spectrum, not just in the British context, but also geopolitics as well, must shine out to other people quite easily and readily. So much so that it actually surprises them. And when they're so surprised, it puts them at a disadvantage. You see, the great thing about educating yourself is that you can confront the corrupt establishment without feeling disadvantaged in any way, shape, or form. You can meet them on an equal and superior footing, and that they don't like more than anything else. They don't want to be confronted by people who know what they're talking about. And on the whole, I would say nationalists are better educated than the raft of centre-right clowns that we see on a daily basis. So my advice is to nationalists who haven't yet got that grasp of education that they need, go and get it. Go and educate yourself. You don't need to sign up for a left-wing university course. On the contrary, or even distance learning. Just read extensively, study extensively, arm and equip yourself with the facts. That's what being a political soldier is all about. And it's about having a moral code, i.e., the political soldier must not be engaged in a tirade of amoral and unethical and criminal acts of any description. If they are, then obviously they're not a political soldier and they need to be ostracized from any nativist community, because that's not what we're trying to create. We're trying to create a society. In fact, we are creating a nativist movement, the nativist movement, which is comprised of political soldiers, nationalist, nativist, political soldiers. And we're going to be completely different than the soft, pathetic, absolutely ridiculous centre right that is just totally and utterly hooked on left wing sound bites and left-wing ideology and ranting about nativists and nationalists. That's fair enough, that's not a problem. The centre-right is the enemy anyway. We must never seek to emulate them in any way, shape or form, only to counteract and counter them. That is our primary objective. The best way to do that is never to be like them. Occasionally, we will find people in our own ranks who basically just don't, how could I put it, cut the mustard. They don't come from the right type of grain. They will be failed and they will be ostracized. They will be removed from the body politic to protect the entire body politic, the entire community. Because weakness of that nature, allowing that type of corruption, just leads us down the path of becoming like Tommy Robinson and his organised criminal gang. And that's not what we're out to become, is it? And so the political soldier should feel good about himself or herself. Women can be political soldiers too, absolutely, 100%. The political soldier should feel good about being educated, about being moral, about being committed, about having a code of honour. That's right, honour. Yes, in the modern age, what does honour mean? Is it honourable to do certain things? Well, I would say it is completely dishonourable to grift £42,000 in the name of a dead man and then not give it to his family. Concoct a tissue of lies about what happened. Like I'm talking about Peter Lynch, for example, and the Tommy Robinson demo on the 26th of October last year. That is immoral and dishonourable conduct for which they are absolutely notorious. They're noted for it. And that's well demonstrated. And we must never, ever become the same as these people. We must be the complete opposite. And of course, it's dishonourable to become a Zionist. No ethno-nationalist, nativist could ever become a Zionist and, and hope to continue with any form of respect from colleagues. That just isn't the way it works. It's like Tom Routhall survived the jive. He was quite happy to be photographed at the latest Tommy Todd rally with the Israeli flag in the background. That is dishonourable conduct, quite frankly. It's conduct unbecoming of nativism. We don't wish to encourage it in any way, shape or form. We won't embrace it. We don't accept it. We use these things as examples of what we don't want our members to become. We use these examples to inspire our members to be the complete opposite, to become something completely different. And above all, intellectually and ideologically, the political soldier must be a complete cut above the centre-right, so that when there is any form of ideological discourse, disagreement, dialogue, the centre-right clown must be trumped easily, well and truly put in their place by facts, facts-based evidence, and also ideological rightness. And the thing about nationalism or nativism, because nationalism is morphing into nativism. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It's a slow evolutionary process, but it's one that was always bound to happen, is that we are completely different than the centre-right because they have no ideological basis. Their every attempt to hatch an ideology has failed completely. And one can only think of that ridiculous The Pledge they came up with last year, led by the pipe grease boy, Paul Thorpe. The Pledge, apparently a glorified petition, was an ideology. It's not an ideology. I doubt it even qualifies as a fault in a wind machine, the type that's here today and gone tomorrow, or here today and gone 5 minutes later. Fortunately, with the smell from that garbage. But we have an ideology which endures. Only nationalists and the left have an ideology in the political context that endures. And if you remember what I said about Shabana Mahmood at the Labour conference and Die Starmer ranting about ethno-nationalism, well, that proves they're far more concerned about ethno-nationalism than they are the centre-right, because the centre-right largely is just under control. It's a safety valve operation. They don't have us under control. That's what they're really concerned about. And they want us under control, and they can't get us under control. And becoming a political soldier with a strong unbreakable, steely, granite-like will is what they fear more than anything else. All of our enemies must fear it. And that is why I say to all nationalists, pursue the path of the political soldier. And I'm not talking about the political soldier in the context of Nick Griffin and the fanciful ideas that he had. No, on the contrary, absolutely not. I'm talking about something far more important and deeper than that, that the political soldier must be a beacon to the local community. They must shine out, they must be respected. At the community level, people must look to them and say, that man or woman is someone of note, and they've done good things and they're doing good things, and the community should seek to emulate them. And that is the whole point of being a political soldier. We're not talking about creating some crackpot who goes to the gym, hooked on steroids and cocaine, etc., bursting with muscles and wanting to break people's heads apart. So, that's just a meathead. No, we're talking about something completely different. Although in the context of martial arts and gym training, that is important. The political soldier should take that step as well, and wherever possible should seek to get military training, albeit for a short time. Obviously, you can refuse deployments, like if De Sturmer came up with some ridiculous idea of sending you to Ukraine to fight the Russians, who are not our enemy. The globalists are the enemy. We know the enemy. And so the political soldier, or the rise of the political soldier, or in truth, the resurrection of the nationalist political soldier, is now absolutely vitally necessary. And the reason why? Because we have entered an existential crisis caused by mass immigration, both legal and illegal, and the diversity delusion and the total failure of multiculturalism. This is why becoming an example for the local community is so important, to attract the local community to our banner. I have said many times, and I will say it again, that I don't believe primary balkanization can be avoided. And the only way to survive the primary balkanization that is just a few years ahead, I'd say 10 years, 10 years before primary balkanization, is to become a political soldier and to recruit and train others to become political soldiers, to shine out as an example to the whole community that you live in, to be someone who can be respected, somebody who can be relied on in a time of duress and crisis. Some people can come to you and know that they will receive succour and strength and honourable conduct. Bravery, above all, is paramount in the life of the political soldier. You must be prepared to do whatever is necessary to save your community. And you have to be selfless to do that. And this is why I believe becoming a political soldier, a hardened, dedicated, committed activist for nationalism stroke nativism, is the only way forward, because we need to leave behind all the daydreamers, all the bedroom masturbators, as it were, who sit there flagellating over copies of this book or that book and this newspaper and that magazine, dreaming away of what they want to see. But we've no time for those people. No time at all. We need to leave them behind. These people have caused so much damage to nationalism in the past. And the new nationalism or nativism that we are building, there will be no role at all for the toxic daydreamers. And of course, we can convert civnats into political soldiers. Absolutely. We've seen a number of civnats this year actually come over to nationalism. So to prove it, though, we need to see people becoming political soldiers. We can't just have people like Bo Dade and Nate on the state of politics saying, well, we're ethnat, without ever having been a member of an ethnat political organisation. So I don't accept their so-called ethnat status. What I want to see to prove ethnat status or nativist status, of course, is determined by DNA, ancestry. Ethnat status is determined purely, in my opinion, by political activism. Have they been active in nationalist political parties? No, absolutely not. Then they're not ethnats. That's my attitude towards it. No one can be regarded as an ethnat if they haven't been active in an ethnat party, because that takes the requisite courage that I'm talking about to actually stamp out this nonsense that, we're a bunch of cranks and extremists, etc. If we embrace such people, then we will be regarded as such. And my objective is to eliminate all of the cranks from the past and just leave them the crank magnets. There's plenty of them. They're quite welcome to each other. And so therefore, when we're talking the likes of Bodade, who claims to be an ethno, all I say is prove it. Become a political soldier. First step to becoming a political soldier, join an ethno-nationalist political organisation. Join the nativist movement. Because I can assure you for a fact that more than anything else, more than any desire to create a new political party, and there's just so many of them, what I really want to create is the nativist movement. And the nativist movement, I assure you, in no uncertain terms, will first and foremost encourage people to adopt the position and lifestyle of the ethical political soldier. And that is what I would like all nationalists to become. And if you can't become it, then maybe you're not a nationalist after all, but I'm perfectly sure that most people in nationalism can become it. And look at it like a training course, for military selection. We're not actually creating a physical army, as it were, but we're creating a cadre of people who have just better, stronger standards. And that's quite simply what we're talking about. The political soldier is not some buffoon dressed up in a uniform, strutting down the street thinking he's Oswald Mosley. That is the complete antithesis of what we want. We want highly motivated individuals who are not afraid to stand up and speak out in favour of England, of Wales, of Scotland and Ireland, of all European nations, of white people, of defending our culture and our races and our nations. And that's in truth what the political soldier is. It's a courageous individual prepared to stand out from the pack of sheep and say things that are unpopular because the regime and its corrupt mainstream media have made it seem unpopular. And nor must we at any time seek to indulge ourselves in populism, which truly is a fart in a wind machine, here today, gone tomorrow. What we are building is something that can endure, a rock of ages that cannot be broken apart by the terrible waves of time, the changing tides of humanity and times that bring us awful tidings. All these things happen throughout the whole of history. One has to be that rock of ages stood on the shore that the sea knows it can never break. And that's what I think of my own personality, is that the terrible tides of fate and time have thrown everything they can at me, and I'm still going. I'm still standing, and I intend to continue. And I want you to do the same. I want you to show exactly the same courage. The reason why I got nominated for 3 Freedom of Speech Awards in 2015 was because I was prepared to stand out from the crowd. I was prepared to sacrifice my liberty, which I did when called upon. I could have done it differently to avoid imprisonment. I didn't. I'm glad I did what I did. I don't regret anything. And quite frankly, that's the type of bravery that I'm talking about. We need to set examples, positive examples for other people, i.e., we will stand out, we will stand up, and we will speak out on unpopular issues that cause so much controversy to other people to ensure that socio-politically our society can be changed for the better, and that we can resist this utterly hideous replacement migration program that has been unleashed against us. And the only way to do that, in my opinion, is to become the strong, inviolable political soldier for nativism. Thank you for tuning in, and join me again later.